Greetings, our group will present fructose. Our members are Lizo Prasad, Veer Farhad, and myself, Sharifa. So the introduction. Fructose is a natural monosaccharide, a simple sugar. Fructose is in taste and is naturally found in various fruits, vegetables, and honey. It is crucial in carbohydrate composition. They are integral to sucrose. Excessive fructose links to health issues like obesity, insulin resistance, and metabolic syndrome. Fructose metabolism, energy production, and physiological functions. The metabolism of fructose. Fructolysis is the metabolism of dietary fructose for energy production. It predominantly occurs in the liver and follows a pathway similar to glycolysis. Now, unlike glucose, fructose undergoes the two-step process in the liver, intestine, and kidney before becoming a usable energy source for the body's cell. Fructose two-step metabolism is energy efficiency, with energy expanded in the organs during conversion. An increased intake of fructose containing sugar is associated with weight gain. The short-term high fructose consumption doesn't directly impact fasting glycemia or insulin-mediated glucose that transport in healthy individuals. However, it does elevate hepatic glucose synthesis, basal and postprandial blood triglyceride levels, and intrahepatic fat content, which basically means that the whole process occurs to produce glucose. I'll now hand you over to the next presenter.
Glycolysis fructose. Glycolysis is a process by which cells convert glucose into energy. Unlike glucose, fructose cannot be directly metabolized by glycolysis. Instead, it must first be converted to glucose or another intermediate that can enter the glycolysis pathway. Once fructose has been converted into glucose, cells can use it to generate energy through glycolysis. Fructose can be converted into glucose with two steps, in the liver and in the small intestine. Fructose is phosphorylated by fructokinase to form fructose 1-phosphate. Second step, fructose 1-phosphate is then split into two 3-carbon sugars, glycoraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And lastly, these sugars can then enter the glycolysis pathway. Next slide. Conversion of fructose into glucose in the small intestine. Now, in the small intestine, fructose is converted into glucose by an enzyme called fructosomerase. Glucose can then be absorbed into the bloodstream and transported to cells throughout the body. Next slide. Glucogenesis of fructose. Fructose cannot directly contribute to glucogenesis in the body like glucose. Fructose requires additional conversion steps due to the following. First, metabolic pathway. In this step, says that the glucogenesis converts lactate and glycerol into glucose using specific enzymes, which, while fructose follows a distinct metabolic pathway. The second step is conversion step, and this states that fructose must be converted into either glucose 6-phosphate or fructose 1-phosphate in the liver for glycogenesis to occur. And the next step is net energy loss, and they state that converting fructose to glucogenesis. Uh, precursor demands more energy than using readily available glucose, making it less efficient. Next slide. Fructose indirectly impact glucogenesis by increased substrate availability, and this say that fructose metabolism boosts precursor levels, aiding glucogenesis, especially in extended fasting or low carb scenarios. The next step is hormonal regulation, and they say that fructose boosts glu glucagon, a hormone promoting glucogenesis, and may inhibit insulin, indirectly supporting glucogenesis. And the last step is fatty acid synthesis, and they say that fructose metabolism encourages fatty acid synthesis, leading to higher glycerol levels for glucogenesis. Beyond, next slide, please. Beyond glycolysis and glucogenesis, fructose takes several interesting and specialized metabolic routes, each with its own implications for health and energy production. Two steps are polyol pathway, and this states that converts fructose to sorbitol, then to fructose 6-phosphate, affecting osmoregulation and lens clarity. Overactivity can lead to diabetic complications. The hexokinase independent pathway. They say that phosphorylate fructose directly to fructose 1-phosphate bypassing glycolysis usual hexokinase steps. It can enter various downstream pathway based on cellular requirements.
So your guide to taking control of your fructose intake. Fructose and its impact on health. So blood sugar, the direct impact, fructose doesn't require immediate insulin for cell uptake, but its delayed response can cause post-prandial hypoglycemia, leading to elevated blood sugar levels after a fructose-rich meal. An indirect impact, excessive fructose intake over time can impair insulin sensitivity, potentially leading to chronic hyperglycemia, which is high blood sugar, and contributing to type 2 diabetes. Energy production. Energy source, fructose like glucose converts energy but with extra steps before entering the main energy cycle, thus reducing the overall efficiency compared to glucose. In terms of storage, fructose metabolism in the liver favors triglyceride production, leading to an increased body fat and contributing to obesity and other related risks. Health implication. Excessive fructose is linked to metabolic syndrome with obesity, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and abnormal blood fats. It contributes to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and increased risk of cardiovascular diseases like heart disease and stroke. Energy, metabolism, and storage. Fructose impact bypasses glycolysis, produces less ATP than glucose, and favors triglyceride synthesis for fat storage. Excessive intake disrupts energy balance, causing metabolic imbalances and health concerns. So eating too much sugar from fructose can cause problems in your body. It's a link to a condition called metabolic syndrome, which includes things like being overweight, having trouble with insulin, high blood pressure, and having too much unhealthy fat in your blood. This can also lead to a liver disease called NAFLD, and this makes your heart more likely to get sick. The sugar from fructose doesn't give your body as much energy as other types of sugar and can make your body store more fat. This could interfere with how your body works, and it is not good for your health. So you should consume fructose in minimal levels, minimal amounts. Conclusion: in summary, our bodies processes fructose. How our body processes fructose affects our health. While it provides energy, too much can lead to health issues like insulin resistance. It's important to balance fructose intake for overall well-being. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, please feel free to ask.